Okay, so I just created this brand new project here. You can see the command here. It's quite new actually. I didn't change many things, just this here. And also I installed this package here so I can have documentation for the endpoints. And I use that sort of plugin here. Apart from that, the app is running here. And if you hit that route, you're going to get that response back, basically what you set up here. Why am I doing this? Actually, I have a C++ background, so basically nothing to do with web development whatsoever, you know. But I had this app idea, and I said, oh, for this, I'm going to need to learn web development. So I started looking into libraries and frameworks and whatnot, and I came across Elysia. It's quite nice for the back end, and I said, okay, I'm going to learn how to work with this. Maybe I can get something done. Okay, so my app's going to need authentication, and I looked into Better-Auth and JSON Web Tokens, and I said, okay, Better-Auth is quite nice, but I don't need to use it like right now, you know. So I said, okay, I'm going to learn how to work with JWT. And that's how I got into cookies, you know, because you have to know and deal with cookies. So that's why it's more like me learning things here rather than someone, I don't know, trying to be an expert and telling you how to do things and what you should use and so on. So that's not it. So basically the idea is we're going to have a route, an endpoint cookies that's going to accept an optional cookie named myCookie. MyCookie is going to be an object, as I said, optional. That's going to have an ID and a name property, you know, a number and a string. And basically, if the client does send cookies with the request, then we're just going to return the cookies. And if not, then we're going to set some default values and return the cookie. So basically the logic is, do we have value for the cookie? If not, then we're going to set the values and return. And if we do have a cookie, if the user sends some cookies, then we're just going to return it. The nice thing about Elysia is, is for example, if you, let me just create an example route here named, I don't know, test. And now let's set up the handler. What am I doing? Here. You have a bunch of things here in the context, you know, like path, params, a set function for the header, you have a body, you have query and stuff. We have also cookie, which is what we're going to deal with today. But if we just try cookie, then nothing's going to happen because we didn't say what we are expecting, how the cookie is going to be named, how the cookie is going to be set up, and this kind of stuff. So you have nothing here. If you try to do something with cookie here, but then if you say, okay, I'm going to have a cookie named myCookie, then okay, Elysia now knows, okay, I know the name of the cookie you're trying to target myCookie, but again, it does not know anything about myCookie, you know. So what we need to do is we need to create a so-called hook. That's what Elysia calls it. We're going to target the cookie hook because there is body, there is like querying, you know, that's a bunch of hooks. We need the cookie one because that's what we're going to use. And basically you use this here to define your cookies. This T thing is like type box adapted or optimized for Elysia. So it's sort of type validator thing. And then here you set, I don't know, my cookie, extra cookie, another cookie, and this kind of stuff. And then once you set up the cookie here, then you can have like type completion and some IntelliSense, So that's what we did here. Let me just copy and paste that thing so the video does not get too long. Here, if you take a look at it, it's basically what we had before. We have that logic here, and here is the my cookie. Again, just what we saw in the README file. Optional object with number and ID and name. And now we have like auto completion thing. Or you see, I can now see my cookie. If I had another one, like if I had extra of type, I don't know, an optional string, I could also see that thing here. See? Again, this is just for, so you know how this works. Again, as I said, we're going to target, my cookie, see if we have a value. If not, then we're just going to set some values and return. Otherwise, we're going to return it. Why did I say value and not just my cookie? Because my cookie actually it always has some stuff in it. So this would always be valid, right? No. This can be true or false because sometimes you don't have a value, but we always have this here. That's what I was trying to say. All right, so let's try it out. If we send a request without cookies, what do we expect? We expect to get this here returned. All right, and actually, I'm just going to store that in a session. I think I had this here. All right, because when I send this request, the cookie is going to get set. We're going to store it in this file here, and when we send another request, same request, then we expect to hit this part here, and the first one we expect to hit this here. Okay, so let's try it out. Okay, see, we sent no cookies, so we got into this path here. And now I'm going to send the same request, but now this file here, we have some cookies to send. See, that's how this XH HTTP client works. We're going to send now. I expect to have this object sent back to me. See, that's basically how it works. We set the default cookie here, and now we're just like returning it. You can see that this is the key. And before we had something like this. Okay. Now I'm going to send a request with cookies from the very beginning. You can see I save that cookie, another file, cookie sent, just so you can see. That's going to be created here. And I'm setting the values for the cookie. It's going to be 42 for the ID and the meaning of life for the name. If I send that, I expect to hit this statement here from the very beginning, and you can see that's what happened. Okay, so what I'm getting to is we're going to read cookies and verify and stuff. So this is just like an introduction, how to work with them. That's basically how you get them from the context, how you set up a schema or schema if you want, and also how you can, again, read the values and set values for your cookie, basically. So that's it. I am learning all this stuff. Where is that? For example, here I have this app where I'm learning, how to, yeah, you don't want to, you don't need to look into that now, but I'm going to use Drizzle. I'm going to use Postgres. Here you can see the compose, Docker compose file. And yeah, here you can see I was doing some sort of learning on my own. As I said, it's more like me learning than trying to impose anything. Also, if you don't set that thing to optional, then that request wouldn't go through, because that's how Elysia is quite type safe, like if you didn't have this here, then you couldn't send a request without cookies. For example, for your admin page, you need to be authenticated, and you need to be an admin, so to say, but again, you need to be authenticated, so you wouldn't want that optional there for the admin handling thing. So that's it. Again, I'm going to learn more things until I set up the authentication with JWT, and then yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.